And next up is... Sorry. I was waiting for her to finish sneezing. God. That
Oh
was
crap,
the
it's
fifth
my
one.
turn next.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That was the...
That's the blooper right there.
Because he's not here. I'm not used to it.
All right, let's try that again. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Lions Pride Tavern podcast number 83. Tonight, we find out how we did in this weekend's continuing raid of Antorus the Burning Throne. But before all that, let's start off with introductions. I'm your host, Stafford. I play a Dwarven Beastmaster Hunter in the awesome game World of Warcraft. Next up is JobUi.
Hi, I'm JobUi. I play a Worgen Fire Mage.
And Lorelei.
Hi, it's Lorelei, your Night Elf Arms Warrior.
Epistle is missing in action, so he might drop in the middle of this. But we have Charity tonight.
Hi, I'm Charity, your Draenei Resto Shaman.
See, now we can say Draenei however you want because Epistle's not here.
Yes.
That's how I say it too. I say Draenei.
That's what I say, Draenei. So, as my wife calls them, the moon goats or something?
Space
Space
goats.
goat.
Space goats, yeah, that's what.
Yeah, that's why I named my latest one. His name is Van Goat.
Oh my.
Vincent?
There wasn't enough characters to have him be Vincent Van Goat, so he's
Yeah.
just Van Goat.
Aw,
How's everybody doing today?
Great.
great.
Hanging in there at least.
Yeah, no,
Hi.
JobUi, I was waiting for him to say, not so great.
No, actually, I'm doing all right. I had surgery, some oral surgery last week, so if my pronunciation's a little off on stuff, I'm still getting used to the work that got done.
That
Um,
just means he'll be in the bloopers.
Yeah, well, hopefully not too much. But I'm healing up all right. I'm hoping in the next couple weeks I'll be just right as rain.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
did some community day Pokemoning. I went and did that for most of the day today, so that was fun.
Isn't that where the kids walk out in front of traffic?
Yeah.
Only dumb ones. Then process of elimination, whatever.
I do know my
I
son was
had a
doing that for a while, and we would be driving past the mall or something. He's like, "Oh, pull over!"
I had a dream that told me what was wrong with my water heater, and then I went and fixed it because that was actually what was wrong with my water heater. I'm not kidding. I was having this dream, and I have an inline water heater. It's a on-demand water heater, not a tankless, I guess. And I was getting some low flow through it, and I had this dream that that the bottom of chamber 1 into chamber 2 had some calcium scale built up in there that was blocking the tube. And like I woke up and it was like 4 a.m, and I was like, what a weird dream. And I was like, man, I wonder if that was right. And so then
it's probably your brain working as you were
Yeah,
sleeping, thinking
I
about
know.
the reasons.
Yep. And so after everybody woke up and I wasn't going to be bothering anybody, I went and took the water heater apart, and sure enough, it was exactly what was wrong. And I
Nice.
fixed it, and now it
Good
has
job.
good flow.
It wasn't his brain; that was the aliens that pick him up.
Oh my
Put
god.
it into
They're just beaming it down.
yeah.
The Azerothian gods.
The online help. They can get through
Yeah.
your brain.
Well, you do know that's what I do for a living. Is I sell water softeners and
Right.
filtration systems. And
I
found
did
out
not
an
know.
interesting fact the other day from a master plumber. Been a master plumber for 20 some years. So when you take calcium out of water, and and then pump that through a system that still has calcium in it, it will actually pick the calcium back up and carry it out of the system.
Yeah.
Because that water wants to have the calcium in it. So you could have just left it, and eventually over time, the calcium would have
there was
been
a
taken
lot.
out.
There was a lot in there. It would have been like a year or two. But the plumber who put in a water softener, I got a water softener this last week too. He told me that the calcium will just gradually turn to like a jelly-like substance and just kind of get flushed through and out of the
Gross.
system, eventually. So, but it's I mean, it's great. We have really super hard water where I live, so it was destroying our faucets and clogging everything up and just generally causing problems. So we had to go with the water softener. But yeah, so I thought that was kind of funny though, having the dream, which was like literally like an instruction manual dream is what it was. It was weird.
Yep, I have those on how to build time-space continuum transporters. So.
And has it worked out for you?
No, not yet. I'm still missing a few key components.
Sure.
So I just need to go to bed early tonight.
Flux capacitor.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
Way off
my best part of the week was actually getting my enhancement and my elemental weapon transmogs from the Mage Tower.
Oh, you
was
got
rough.
Congratulations.
I had to mute my stream because I was cussing a lot, but I got them done. They weren't too bad. I felt I was skilled enough to do it, and I didn't have everything that they quote say you're supposed to have, and I would get mad. Oh yeah, because if I had the healing pants, I would have just lived through that. And I was getting mad. I was like, all right, nobody wants to hear this, so I muted it. But yeah, it was fun. I felt accomplished by the end, and I feel like I could have done it even without the gear. Like I didn't feel like it was the gear that got me through it. So you just have to do it the right way, and anybody can do it.
Nice. I got my heroic mage tier set completed. Agrimar finally coughed up the helm for me last night, and so now I have my complete set.
Nice.
Yeah, and I got this is the first set that I really, really, really like for mages, like ever.
Oh,
in any of
really?
the yeah, like I mean, in the past, all the tier sets have always been some variation of a robe, kind of thing. And this one is like pants and a cool belt with scrolls on it. And
I haven't looked at it. I'll have to look at it.
it's a nice set. I really like it, and I love the way the cloak matches up with the helm, because the helm creates like a collar for the cloak, and they look like they're one piece. So it's really a nice set. I really like it a lot. And I was convinced going like before we even started this raid, like before they even opened up the Burning Throne, that I was going to have to wait until the next expansion and come back to get the heroic set. I was like, I'll have to come back for that one, because I really want the red and black one. Because I wasn't sure, how far we'd get or whatnot. But, we're getting really close to that point. But, yeah.
I don't see why we wouldn't get at least ahead of the curve.
Oh, well, yeah, now. But this was back when we were doing the Tomb of Sargeras.
Oh, okay.
That when they just announced the tier sets, and I was looking at the previews of the tier sets, and I went, ooh, I really like that mage set. The black and red one looks great.
So not the tier we're in now. The last tier is the one you like.
Yeah. No, the tier we're in now. But it was when they announced the Burning Throne, and then they were showing us the new tier sets that were coming out, and I saw it, and I was like, oh, I really like that. But we were still back in the old raid, and I was like, oh, I don't know if we'll get through heroic, because I didn't know how hard it was going to be or what we were going to be facing.
But then you got this awesome healer on your team named Shepherd,
That does help.
Well,
she brought a couple friends, and yeah.
It did.
For those who don't remember, when we started our minutes, as we call them, JoBui was our transmog minute person.
Yeah,
because he was, that was a long time ago. Because he was like,
that was good stuff.
oh, I can totally do that. And then it was like like, I don't know, what was it, like 2 months into it, he goes, I'm running out of stuff to talk about with trans songs. Because it just
Yeah.
doesn't move along enough. It just,
Yeah, there's just
Well,
not
you
enough
run out of
trans
clothes.
stuff. Yeah, it's like
his closet gets
how
full.
many outfits can you talk about really?
Right.
They don't have enough designers, so you can't just go shopping.
But so yeah, it's pretty exciting for me. When it dropped last night, I was like, yeah, like that really
Mhm.
that really geeked out
Well,
feeling.
okay, but you got to go back and watch the live stream because he was like, "Oh yeah," because he was on some pain meds.
Yeah, well, I still am actually.
Was that Friday night?
Yeah, well,
Oh, okay, I missed it.
it's Friday and Saturday night actually.
No, I
I
mean
think
that you said that. I missed it.
Oh, right. Yeah, they're a little heavy, but they work. They do the job.
I'll have to watch it just to hear you.
Oh yeah, that's right, because you didn't make it. That's right.
No.
No, she was
Yep.
out on Friday.
Yep. That's right. That's right. But you made it in for Saturday.
Yeah, I didn't feel good, but I still rated because I felt bad for calling out the day before. So I still came and I didn't live stream because I didn't feel good.
Well, yeah, because you guys were out like till 3 a.m. or something playing with some kids.
No. What? That's not the Pokemoning you're thinking of.
Oh.
Okay, so let me rephrase. I have other online friends and we have not gotten to hang out, so I hung out with them the night before. And then the next night, I was exhausted because I was
older,
up all
and-
night
Yeah.
and I had heartburn and it didn't feel good and I could not get to sleep, so I pulled an all-nighter and went to work the next day at 5 in the morning to work and then worked an 8-hour shift, came home and went to sleep. And then I woke up right at raid time. I'm like, oh, crap! And I logged on. So I was a little sleepy and tired and hurting. So, yeah.
And she totally sounded that way, too, on the live stream.
I do. I don't
Yes.
even...
You sounded, when you first jumped in, you totally were like, I'm so sleepy.
Yeah. And even Pucky, like Pucky came in sounding like Eeyore.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
because he has to sleep before he goes to work. Yeah.
Yeah, the two of you both sounded like dead tired. Hey, by the way, I did hear from Epistle.
Oh, okay.
He's having apparently some parent illness going on, so
Okay.
he won't be with us tonight. But
Right.
I wish them well. I hope all
Yes.
is well with him.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
we'll get to talk to him next weekend, and he'll be
Sure.
the next podcast, I'm sure. So, but yeah, hey, so we got Bronzebeard came back for did he make both nights?
I don't know. I didn't see him Saturday, so
Wait.
I guess not.
I think he
Wasn't
was
He
it-
in,
didn't raid. He didn't
he
Yeah,
raid
wasn't
with
in the
us.
raid. He was just in Discord.
No, he just.
Oh,
No,
he's just in
he didn't
Discord.
raid.
I thought,
Yeah.
well, who was the new tune that we had then?
Oh, on Friday it was a friend of Sky's.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I missed that. I thought that was Bronzebeard, and I was like, man, and he's totally seriously so quiet.
Yeah, this
know, he
is
said
why
hi,
mommy. This is why mommy and Joe are the leaders.
Well, this is
Stafford
why-
doesn't
this-
know his feet from his hands.
That's right. This is why mommy controls who comes in and who doesn't.
Yeah, she does all the invites and stuff.
Yes.
Which is, let me tell you, I've had to do that job, and I'm
She's
glad
my
I don't have to do
secretary.
that job. You know.
Uh huh. You just
But
take
yeah,
credit.
No, she's
yeah,
over
we
there
had
going,
to. Yeah, we had a new Sky's friend. She plays a hunter, Phalinin or something like that. I can't remember how to pronounce it.
Oh,
But-
fentanyl.
I think that was it. Either.
Off the top of my head.
No,
But-
that's what we nicknamed her, was fentanyl. That's why I remember. That's how I just remembered it. Yeah. Association.
It's not as good as Chapang.
Chabang.
Bang!
There it is, right there. Oh, yeah.
I
You
like
guys
to
gotta go
mispronounce
watch our
people's
live stream.
names occasionally. I do it on purpose because it's fun.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with the medication, people.
No, I do that every week anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Sometimes I bring people in with weird names just to see what you'll call them.
Well, let's find out how we did in this last weekend's raid, JoBui.
All right, we knocked out normal Argus like we've been doing each week. Came back, and we went after Guidotti Worldbreaker, got through Fellhounds, High Command, Portal Keeper, and ENR the Lifebinder. We took a couple pulls on Eminar the Soul Hunter. It did not go well, but that's okay. We came back the next night, and we got Eminar down, I think, on our first pull, if I recall.
Bang! Yes, we did. Bang! One shot.
Yep.
Bam!
And we went on to Kingaroth and took down Kingaroth in one shot. And then we went on to Veramathras, where there was
Now, what were the predictions again?
mistakes
Well, my
were
projection was correct. I
Yeah.
said that it would not go well for us because we've been messing up on mechanics on old bosses, and that we'd get some tries on the new boss. I was like, yes, I was right. Not
Yeah.
really that happy about it, but
Yeah, we had a rough go on Veramathras. There was various mistakes made by lots of different folks. I accidentally blinked back in with necrotic embrace at one point.
was so
I
good.
literally blinked out and blinked back in, and I was like, "Oh crap! It's too late to run back out." And I tried to run out, but it was over. I had
But
wiped this.
he did the right thing, and he said, "Oh, sorry, I messed up. We gotta start over." I blinked right back in, guys.
Oh yeah. I'm a firm believer in owning your mistakes. So, and that was certainly a mistake. I totally bumped my blink button. I like blinked out, I, like even blinked backwards right out of the group because I used momentum, and I'm like, yeah, that was awesome. And then I blinked right back in. I'm like, not so awesome. So yeah, we eventually got through Veramathras. What was it, 7 or 8 pulls or something like that?
7
It was-
wipes, 1 kill.
Yeah, and mind you, most of those were really fast. It
Yes.
was like there was something that got screwed up right at the very beginning. We had a couple of tank flubs. We had a few necrotic embrace mistakes.
Couple of tank flubs.
Yeah, we'll say
So,
a couple, a
we
few.
we added 4 more to the, or 4 or 5 more to the list of things you don't want to hear your tank say.
Yeah, yeah. I gave him a little crap. Told them they needed to stop sucking, but it was all in good fun. So, but they got it together, and so did everybody else, and we got through it. And then
Yep.
we went on to Agrimar, and we did I think 4 pulls, 5 pulls.
Yep, 4
Yeah,
pulls.
4 pulls. We did 4 pulls on Agrimar, and we made progress. We didn't. It was not super clean. People are still getting used to CCing. That people are getting used to don't touch the little ads. That's a big one. There's lots of that stuff that is just going to take time for people to get used to that particular part of the fight. But we got progressively better on our 4 pulls. It wasn't like just horrible. It was like, a little bit better each time.
Well, you could
and,
hear everybody working everything out. It was like the gears were
Mhm.
starting to fall into place, and they started communicating. And at one point we're like, oh, well, maybe we need to move the markers. And then we had some discussion, and then it was like, okay, well, that doesn't matter. And so we just all need to pay attention. And it got like our last couple pulls were really good. Like it felt
Yeah.
like we were all doing what we needed to. We just needed to make it a little bit better. And
Mhm.
what's the word for it? When you chisel at something and make it a diamond, you just get press it progressively a little better.
Chip away at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's totally within our capabilities. I can easily see where as we progress in that fight, we get a little bit more time on it in the coming weeks. I could easily see us getting through that fight. It's not so different from the first one or from the normal version that it's going to be if nobody can handle it. It's just going to be getting through those ad phases, and as soon as everybody gets used to the ad phase, we're golden.
Yeah, because then it's just a rinse and repeat.
The second intermission phase is tougher than the first one. You know, like when you're just fighting Agramar and there's no ads up and stuff. So the second one is a little bit more difficult than the first one, but not so much more difficult that everybody's going to be like, oh, freak out. It's just more stuff to dodge on the ground primarily. And of course, we're also dealing with bringing in the little ads, which I still need practice on because I got to get used to their timing, like when to break the next one so that it marches in at the correct time and stuff like that. We also have to get people to stop slowing them, just leave them alone. Because a couple times, like I broke one free from their CC and it started marching in, then somebody was like, oh no, it's marching in, and then they tried to stop it. And I'm like, no, just don't touch it. Just leave it alone. Go do your job. Your job is big ads and Agramar.
And if you mess it up just a little, it was horrible. Like,
Yeah.
I'm dying. Yeah, we know.
Yeah, but people get used to it, and I think next week when we get in there, we're just gonna reiterate. If you're a CC person, then you touch the little ads. If you're not a CC person, just don't touch the little ads ever. Just don't ever look at them.
Ever.
Ignore them. They are not for you.
That was pretty much the explanation.
Yeah, well, I mean that's. But people didn't get it at first. They just still felt like they needed to kill them. And I think that's like a little bit of a holdover from normal, where you would normally want to kill them. But you just don't in Heroic. They're just big ads and Agramar. And that's the sole focus of everybody who is not a CC person.
Yeah. Yeah, because I know I had the furthest one in the very back that I had to CC. And the first one that I CC'd when we got to that phase, you were saying, oh, it's always going to be the one to the right of your marker. So I went to CC that one, and it left the one on the left. Nobody CC'd. So I was like, all right, well, maybe I do the left next time. And then I did the left, and then the right one didn't get CC'd.
But one of the things that people have to get used to is there is one that doesn't get CC'd in our plan, like right at the very beginning. We don't CC that one. That one is just left to waltz on in. And like the one time everybody got their ads correct, then mommy yelled out, oh, there's still the one's going. And then people started attacking it. Yeah, like people turned and attacked it. And I'm like, no, it's fine. It's supposed to do that. And
once the panic ensues in our raid, it's horrible.
Yeah, and in that fight, it's really, I really honestly feel like that fight is it's a raid lead mechanic. It's a matter of planning and orchestration and getting people to, stick to the plan, and not freak out, and it's not very random, that fight. It's very predictable. And I think once everybody gets used to it and they just learn to leave the little ads alone when they're not responsible for them, I think we'll be fine. We'll get through it. And we'll go on to Heroic Argus. Yay.
Yay.
I was wondering,
not looking forward to healing that.
Answer this question. Was it with the little ads, is it easier to just say, all right, you get the top ad on the left, and then you don't worry about a marker, and then somebody gets the middle ad on the left, and then that first ad on the bottom left is the one nobody touches? Would it be easier that way? Because I wasn't really paying attention to the ads, but I thought because people were getting confused that they weren't showing up on the markers, I thought, well, there's always going to be 3 on a side, so somebody could take upper, middle, and bottom.
Yeah, the markers, one of the things that the CC folks got to get used to is those markers are not exact. And they're just a kind of a guideline, like this is your quadrant, this is your area to work in. You're handling the ad that's going to be near there. It's not necessarily like, and that, I think some people were expecting, oh, my ad's going to show up on my marker. No, it's not. It's going to show up somewhere around there. It might marker, but if it does, it's just dumb luck. So it's just going to be a matter of the people handling CCs getting used to it. But in every successful attempt I've ever been in on Agramar, with any pug group I've joined, every group I've joined has been a different group. they all use markers. They all put them in a similar pattern like that, and then the CC people just have to handle, their ad.
Well, the
Some
room is round, and it's like telling a blonde to go pee in the corner. I mean, you get lost, you know?
Yeah,
yeah.
I have to agree.
Well, that's what the markers are for, though. But I mean, as long as 5 of the 6 get CC'd, and then whichever one you CC, you stick with, and you hang out with that ad, making sure that it stays CC'd until we want it to come in, then we're good to go. It doesn't really matter too much which ad marches in first. The only thing that matters with that is if the little ad gets next to the big ad, then the big ad and the little ad both get all enragey and nasty and stuff. So you want to make sure that they don't get close to each other, which is why we have everybody killing the big ad on a particular side first, because that's the side that the first little ads are going to march in on. So by the time the little ads are getting to the boss, that big ad on that side's already dead and gone, and everybody's killing the big ad on the far side. So we never have to worry about the little ads getting close to the big ads and getting all ragey. So it's a dance, and like I said, it's just gonna take some time getting people used to it, and they'll get used to it. They'll realize that that's proximity, not an exact positioning, and they'll figure out like what their job is. And if we have people that just consistently can't figure out which ad is theirs, then we'll swap them out for another person who does the CC. We have extra people.
I was going to make a suggestion on that, because that was the only thing I figured, is that the one that you assigned to me was the 4th one in the circle of things. Okay. Mm-hmm. And the first time I did it, I think I targeted, because they show up randomly, I think I targeted the 3rd one, and the 4th one kept coming. So then the next time I targeted the 4th one, and nobody got the 3rd one because I did that one the last time. My suggestion, I'm thinking, is we do have extra CCs, is put one more person over on the side that, in that middle area there. And that way, if I CC one, and then the other one doesn't get CC'd because somebody didn't, died off or didn't see it or anything, you have another person there. I think the end ones and the very ends of the circle worked fine. I think they got them all CC'd just fine. It was just that middle section. It was like, I don't know if we missed somebody, or, because if I would have CC'd the one to the left of my marker, the guy that looked at it and went, oh, he just CC'd that one, should have crossed over and got the one on the right.
Right.
Thinking, well, because I got to sign that one, but that one showed up. I don't know what happened there, but I'm just saying, to alleviate that confusion and just give us that extra buffer, is maybe put another person over there just to help out with that one marker area. Because it was really tough for me. I know there was like 3 or 4 healers, my health was dropping, and they're like, I can't get to Stafford because everybody hangs out, on the one side of the platform. And because I was so far over there, I was out of heals.
Well, that was a healer error too. We're supposed to spread out.
Right, yeah, we have to stay more spread out.
I think, like, as we do more polls, I think, like, the confusion that you're experiencing there is just unfamiliarity with what's going on, and it's a little bit of that, like, oh, where are they going to show up? Which one's mine? And right now, it feels like I don't know necessarily which one's mine, and neither does the guy next to me, kind of thing, or the person next to me. But I think you guys will get that pretty quickly. And I think just a few more pulls, and all of a sudden it's going to click, and you're going to be like, oh, okay, I'm just handling this one over here, and all that. Because, when it's, I've seen groups where everybody's really comfortable with doing their CC job, and they just get CC'd right away, and they stay CC'd. Like, we had one point where they all got CC'd properly, and we were bringing them in, but the people who did the CC they CC'd, and then they just went back to attacking the boss, and were like, whatever with my ad that I'm responsible for. And then they all started coming off their CC and started marching in towards the boss, and they weren't getting reapplied. They weren't the CCs weren't being maintained, and so then everything fell apart.
Well, I do know from me, because that was one of mine that did that, it was because I had no hit points left.
That can happen too. Yeah.
I died. And
Yeah,
so there was no re-CCing of that because I was taking
But
a
yours
group
wasn't the only one. There
No,
was
no, no,
there
it
was
wasn't.
there was 4 of them marching in at that point, unaccounted for. And not all 4 of those people that were assigned the CCs were dead. They just weren't taking care of their ads. So yeah, you're basically like when you get assigned a CC, you're in charge of that ad, and until it's dead, you're still in charge of it. So you got to keep an eye on there. Now, as a mage, I can like slow them for like 8 seconds. So if somebody's a little slow to getting their CC reapplied, I can kind of hold them in place for a moment or two. Backup CCs can take over for those, but really it's just going to come down to people getting used to their job and executing it accurately and consistently.
Oh yeah. I mean, and the communication is key. Like that's the reason why we were able to save Stafford, because we were like, "Hey, I can't reach him," so we fixed it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
because
get there.
from then on, it was, the only reason I died is because that was a raid wipe.
A raid right.
Raid wipe.
Yeah.
Well-
And that fight, I may even talk to the raid group as a whole. Sometimes when I go into that fight, I change out my gear to like the Pyridaz neck and the Belovier's chest, I think is what it's called, which I call my mage tanky setup, which gives me all these like absorb shields and stuff. Makes me a lot more resilient. And we may decide to have players switch out of their hardcore DPS gear into more resilient gear that gives them things like the shields, like the neck piece and stuff. Just simply because DPS is not the most important thing in that fight. It is important to a certain extent, but we don't really want like mad crazy numbers on that fight because we could accidentally push a phase if we did. But we do want everybody staying up, and there is a lot of damage going out. Even a lot of it is unavoidable damage, and it's going to be really hard on the healers. So we may have folks switch out to some more resilient setups, whether through talents or through legendaries and that sort of thing, just to take some of the heat off the healers and to help them not end up dead on the floor.
Yeah. Lorelei, how was it for you as melee? Was it pretty straightforward being that close to the boss?
Oh yeah, it's actually, I think it's easier for us not having to worry about the little ads at all. So that's why I was asking that question, because I really was not paying attention to any of them, except that I noticed that they do show up on opposite halves of the platform. Otherwise, for me, it's just like, well, we're going to hit the boss until he puts up his shield, and then we're going to worry about the stuff on the ground and flame rend. And to me, it even seems like a simpler fight than the normal version.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because a lot of the responsibility falls on ranged primarily.
Yeah. We
Although-
just, we're just on the boss and the big ads, and once they go down, we're just, just waiting around.
And interestingly enough, the CCs don't have to go all out to DPS either. Monks have a good CC for that. Druids have a good CC for that. So it could be a healer assigned a CC at times. It's not limited to just, hunters and warlocks and stuff.
Right, but the hunter CC is the best CC out there.
Actually, no, not for this fight. The warlock one is the best. And the reason the warlock one is the best is because the banish, which works on these guys, it can't be broken by damage. So once they CC it, it just stays CC'd until they're ready to release it.
Unbanish it. Yeah.
Yeah, which is really great. I mean, that is really spectacular for this particular fight. Like if we had 6 or 5 warlocks, I would have all warlocks on that job, and they would never get broken, regardless of whether or not people went, "Oh, there's an ad, I gotta kill it." No, because you don't have to kill it. Now, keep in mind too, if they do get killed, they drop a pool on the ground, like near where they die, like right at where they die, actually. And if the tanks run the boss through that pool on the ground, it acts as though the ad ran into the boss, and it will apply another debuff to everybody. So
wow.
if the ad dies right next to the boss, there is a recovery action for that. Like, if if for some reason the ad gets up close and a bunch of people kill it, all the tanks have to do is run the boss through that little pool on the ground, and it'll do the blazing eruption thing, and then that ad will be absorbed as if it ran into the boss. So that's a little bit of a recovery method there. In fact, I've actually seen where there are some groups where instead of letting the ads march in, the tanks, like there's one group I saw, the tanks bring the boss around the edge of the room to each of the ads that are CC'd, and then they kill the ad and then run it through the pool when it's time on the next one. And I'm like, it seems really complicated, but that's the way they wanted to do it.
Interesting. Yeah. I don't know if our tanks could handle that, because the fight right before is Veramathras, and I know that, speaking from my son, who's Durag, who's one of the main tanks, he really had some choice words about the Veramathras fight, that he did not like it at all.
Yeah, it's a
very tank-heavy fight.
Yeah, very unforgiving to the tanks. Like one wrong move, and that's it.
Yep. Yeah, he came out after the raid, and he's just like, I don't like that Veramathras fight at all.
Now, here's the other question is, how long do you think, do we wait until we've started doing Argus on Heroic before we stop doing it on normal? Or...
See, I was going to pose that question because there was only, when the last time we did our check, there was only like 2 people that needed 3 weekends to get the last of their Argus, and we forgot to check this weekend. So yeah. I'm thinking next weekend, just from the aspect, because I don't need it anymore, and I only had 2 that I didn't need. So realistically, this would have been the 3rd one, because I needed 2, and this would have been the 3rd one, because I have one sitting in my bags now, for my trinket. So I'm thinking that we probably are good to go with skipping Argus right off the bat. But I think with that we didn't, ask everybody. I think we need to just do Argus one more time and then ask at the end of the fight.
Well, and we also discussed that we need the practice because we're still messing up on Argus.
Right.
Yeah.
And, maybe we could do it every other weekend, just to keep up on it. But I think we need to, at some point, skip it and jump right into it, and then try to get to Argus on Saturday.
There has been less blatant screw ups on Argus lately. I can say that much.
Yeah.
Like for a few weeks there, it was pretty rough.
There was Friday.
Yeah, there was a couple of mistakes on Friday. Yeah, people are still dropping.
Thing.
Yeah, it's that same mechanic that they're still dropping. And I didn't look to see if it was the same people that are making that mistake this week or not. I'll have to go back and watch the replays watch the replay, because there's only the one, to see who it is that's still having trouble with that mechanic. But it's really not a hard mechanic.
Well, I have to go back to it. This is, our group is one of these groups that once they get focused in and they become very familiar with the fight, satisfied almost to the point where they're like, yeah, I got this down. They get tunnel vision, and they forget about those simple little mechanics that still have to be done. And I think that's where we're going off on it, is because it's usually somebody up in the melee. I've seen, or up further from where I'm at. I'm as ranged. I'm always at the very back of the pack, of where we need to stand when we stack. But it always seems like it's somebody ahead, and then they don't see it like the first couple of ticks, and then they start moving back, and as soon as they get back, they drop it right on top of us.
Yeah,
I
don't know why that's the case so much. I mean, it feels, it's not a hard mechanic, and there's lots of things that clue you in on it. But like you said, I mean, people get lazy about it, and they can't in Heroic. In Heroic, that'll, take out too many people, and then we won't be able to beat the enrage timer, the Berserk.
And speaking of add-ons, so did you do one from Veramathras for the necrotic?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's one.
See,
it's in the document.
And I thought I grabbed it. I'm gonna have to go double check, but it wasn't working for me because I was getting the DBM counter saying I had it, which I was watching anyway. But what did yours do exactly? Did it blow off an air horn or anything?
Yep. It just blows
Okay,
an air
yeah.
horn, and it puts an icon up on the screen with a number in it, and it just shows you the number ticking down.
Yeah, I thought
And it
so.
even says right under. I think it even says underneath it. Let me double check, but I think it says move more than 10 yards from the group. Like it gives the instruction of what to do right there underneath it. Let me
Yeah,
look.
I'll have to log in and look and make sure I have that one. Because I didn't see, I figured yours would have something like that. That's why I installed it. And I didn't see it go off. But there was a few people having some issues with some of their add-ons. So, maybe that's it too. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe I have it turned off.
no icon. It just comes up in flashing red letters that says Necrotic Embrace, move 11 yards away, and then it has the time that showing you time is left.
Okay.
And
I definitely wasn't getting that then.
and it plays the air horn. So
Okay.
it should work.
Yeah, well, it wasn't like I was messing it up. I mean, I know the first time I got it twice in a row, and the first time I got it, I used my turtle, and I got out, and everything was great. And then I got it a second time, and I heard Dizzy go, keep Fafford up because he doesn't have another turtle.
Yeah, I didn't have a cooldown. So we had,
Yep.
I mean, luckily as soon as I saw you get the debuff right before you jumped out, I put a Riptide on you so that you'd have some kind of a cushion right before you came back in.
Oh, you're
But
the
it's hard.
nicest healer.
You gotta time it, man. It's hard.
Oh,
I
I know.
try and as soon as I see that eyeball, I'm like, go, 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 go. And then as soon as you're back in the group, I throw a Riptide so it gets you right away as soon as you're able to get healed, and then I start pumping you full heals. It's a heart attack. I hate that fight.
So tanks and healers.
So I just was looking, right? And I don't know. Maybe it's possible that they changed this, but I think it's probably just my mistake. Like I like to own my mistakes. I was just looking at my my weak aura for the Necrotic Embrace, and it was listed as detection of player buff, not debuff.
Ooh,
So it might
okay.
not have been working. I just updated the Google document
Okay.
with so the new one should function correctly.
Okay.
I'm not sure if they changed this, but I thought not too awful long ago, I think weak auras had that, like the aura type, it was listed as like buff/debuff, and it was just like an either or thing. And then I think he might have changed it so that it's more specific to buff or debuff again.
They have definitely had a couple updates.
Updates lately, yeah.
Yes, so it's very possible.
Because I had another one that was working and then stopped working, and I think that might have been something that they changed in there. But I just, like I said, I just updated it and put it on there. So
okay, well, I'll let you know.
Yeah, it should work now.
Oh yeah, I didn't get a siren, and I have all of your weak auras. I just get the thing over my head from DBM.
Yeah,
See, that's what I was getting. So
I would delete there. You don't even really need to delete it. If you go into your weak auras, if you have it currently, just go in there and under the trigger menu for that particular one, it's called one very dash necrotic embrace. And if you go in there under the trigger, under aura type, it says buff, and you want to change that to debuff because it's a debuff, not a buff. So if you change that, it'll work perfectly again.
Okay. Well, there you go. If you guys are using Jobui's awesome weak auras. Now, I don't know that we post that on the Lions Pride Tavern website. We just post that on our guild website. So sorry, guys, you won't be able to get it. But if you really want it, message us.
We can put a link up to the document on the Lions Pride Tavern site. I don't have a problem with that. And then they would have access to all the weak auras that we have set up for the different bosses.
Yeah,
So,
we just have to make sure they're locked so that they can't be changed.
Oh, they can't be modified.
Oh, okay.
It's just they can view. Anybody with the link can view, but they can't change it. So yeah, I should put those up so folks can get those weak auras if they're interested.
Yeah,
they're amazing. Even for a experienced raider, like it's not just training wheels. Honestly, it's just one less thing you got to think about.
So yeah, We'll throw that up on our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/Lions Pride Tavern. Plus, you can also find us other places too, like YouTube. Charity's got a YouTube where she live streams. I've got mine where I live stream. All those are in the description below, so all the links are, so you guys can see all that. If you got any questions or comments, please send them to lionspridetavern@yahoo.com or any of the message services like with Yahoo, or Facebook. Just leave us a message down below, and we definitely answer all of those. I didn't get any comments this week on anything, so we must have been doing all right last week. So I don't know. I don't remember asking any questions to our fans, so I didn't see any answers. So, but guys, we need to move along. It's time for Lorelei's Pet Battle Minute.
Hey everyone, more news out of the alpha. Collection achievements in BFA will be increased and will include mounts and pets. I've seen the new horse that the humans have, and I have to have it, especially the Palomino. I've been wanting one of those ever since I joined the game. New pet charms will be used to purchase upgrade battle stones, while our current charms will still be used to purchase existing rewards. So don't throw those things away, they're still usable. There will also be new pet battle world quests, as well as new cats and chickens. Not sure why they're singling out cats and chickens, but chickens are getting new hairstyles. I never knew that chickens had hairstyles. Did you?
Chickens have lips.
But they're changing the hairstyles, not the lips. So that I'm going to watch out for that. I've never looked at my chickens that closely before. Blizzard's also working on more familiar type of achievements and challenges, minus the random spawn of the trainers. So that's going to work out much better. For those who love their PvP battles, you'll be seeing new pet ability mechanics. And apparently there were PvPers who wanted a ranking system similar to regular PvP, but Blizzard decided that this wouldn't be a good fit for pet battles. There will be more pet battle dungeons, however these will not be available with the launch and will most likely show up in a later patch. The new tech that we saw with the Una quest line was so popular that developers have said that we could be seeing more quests that add appearances to certain pets. I enjoyed that quest, and I'm looking forward to more pet rewards like this one. Stay tuned for more exciting updates, and I hope you're looking forward to the new expansion as much as I am.
Oh my gosh,
Right.
I'm so excited about those fluffy fat cats. They are so cute.
Everything's looking, if it's a regular animal, it's looking more lifelike. I've already seen.
Have you seen
like,
the frogs?
Yes, I was just going to say
Oh
the
my
frogs.
gosh, the
I ran by
frogs.
one. I had to stop and go back and look at it because I'm saying,
And
like,
the pigs.
wow,
There's
that
pigs
looks like a real frog.
everywhere.
So I've
There's
seen a
piggies.
couple of new things that I saw a little icy type critter, but it wasn't a pet battle thing you could do. So there's one new one I've seen out that I've got to go get. So it's gonna be interesting. I think there's some really neat things, and they've just made everything look so much better.
Very cool. Well, we'll be looking forward to that, definitely. Next up.
Getting Deeps with JobUI.
Know your limits and keep it simple. We all want to improve our DPS, and with practice and improved gear, we're all likely to see that happen. But just how far should you go in your effort to min-max your DPS? Min-maxing has been around for a long time as a part of game theory. In WoW, it is essentially the effort to minimize the maximum loss of DPS. This manifests in a lot of ways, such as reducing the number of times you interrupt your own casting, whether you use this spell over that one, choosing one particular talent over another, or picking which pieces of gear you'll use based on the stats that gear improves. All of those choices can work to your benefit. Figuring out the nuance and the details of how all those things work together can become an endless rabbit hole that you can keep diving deeper and deeper down until when? Where do you stop? And that's the trick. Sometimes the min-maxing leads to combinations of talents and timing that start to become unrealistic to execute in actual raid situations reliably. This is where it's important to know your limits and to keep it simple. A good example of that is my choice to use Incanter's Flow over Rune of Power. Incanter's Flow gives me a damage increase that ranges from 4% up to 20%, cycling every 10 seconds. That gives me an average passive damage increase of 12%. Rune of Power gives me a 40% increase in damage for 10 seconds, has 2 charges, a 1.5 second cast time, and has a maximum range of 8 yards. If used perfectly, Rune of Power will give me a 12.5% damage increase overall. But it can be lined up with other powerful abilities for greater maximum potential. But that's the key, potential. It requires perfect execution and lining it up all just right at just the right time for it to be an improvement. So I have to ask myself if I'm so good at the mechanics and timing that I will line everything up just right, or will Incanter's Flow give me a better solid boost without having to worry about it? I go with Incanter's Flow, because I know I'll screw up something along the way with the Rune of Power, meaning that ultimately for me, Incanter's Flow is going to result in me getting more DPS. So, min-max your character to your heart's content, but know your limits, keep it simple, and keep getting those deeps.
Next up, we have...
Baby, you got the heals. Now heal and don't die, 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 die. Heal and don't die, 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 die.
This week's Slash into Heals is about one of our vocabulary heals. Triage healing. This means choosing the correct group member to heal before others. Sometimes you have to prioritize people who are at greater risk of dying, or choose to heal someone that will help the group at the time. So, an example of this is if you have 2 tanks, 5 DPS, and 2 healers, and they walk into a bar. No, I'm just kidding. If you have 2 tanks, 5 DPS, and 2 healers, you are gonna prioritize healing tanks and heals before you can lose any of them. But if you have 4 healers and 2 DPS are dead, you have to prioritize DPS and tanks. That's what triage healing is all about. Being an effective healer takes good judgment calls. If someone is standing in fire and you have to heal them too much, you may lose much more mana and not have enough to end the fight. Usually, as healers, we will heal them anyway, then run out of mana, and at the end hear, "Oh, I didn't get any heals." Well, you could thank Johnny Stands in Fire for that. We had no mana to heal you. This also works when you prioritize according to healing because someone has lost more health than others. You don't even realize it, but you're triage healing when you heal the people with less health, because they are at greater risk of dying right away. Like when they get a debuff and you call it out, and you automatically heal them because you know they're going to take the most damage the quickest. So to make a long shepherd talk short, choose who you heal when things go haywire wisely, so that most needed people are up to save the day and kill the big bad. And that has been this week's Splash into Heals.
All right, and next up. It's WFN News, Warcraft Stafford News. The Nether Disruptor is up next at the Broken Shores with Epic Hunter and Reinforced Rains. The weekly event is the Legion Dungeon event. Yay!
I like
Something
that
I
one.
can do. Yeah, me too. WoW tokens are 194 from 192 last week. The week before, they're even less. They're creeping up. I have a feeling if you need tokens, you better get them now because I think the reason they're creeping up is because of the expansion. Even though it's not for a while, but it just there's just no good reason why it's creeping up 2,000 to 4,000 a week.
I
Everybody's getting
remember
hyped.
the good old days when they were only 20K.
Oh wow, I can remember at 40,
Yeah,
but I remember less than that.
I remember when it first came out, they were pretty cheap initially, and then they just started climbing and climbing and climbing.
Well, see, I have to admit, for the longest time, I did not even think about using a WoW token to pay for WoW time. It wasn't until I was making a ton of gold in our, not our bunkers, but the
Garrisons, yeah.
the garrisons, yeah. When they started coming out with the gold missions, like, oh my god, I can make so much gold. And I was really close to 1,000,000 gold. And then I don't remember who it was. It might even have been you, JoeBuoy.
It was.
You're like, yeah. You were like, yeah, I pay for my WoW subscription with WoW Gold. And I'm like, what?
Yeah. I was using my garrison to pay for my subscription for
Yeah.
I think I did it for almost a year. And then I stopped. I don't do that anymore.
Well, yeah, when they don't do the gold anymore. Now, I do have to admit, though, listening to the Goblin Gold cast, they're the ones that turned me on to going back to my garrison and grabbing stuff that still sells for quite a bit. Now, it's not a lot, I mean, you put something up and like I buy with my garrison resources, I buy the Blackrock ore and the other ore. There was 2 of them there. And you buy those and you put them up just a little bit at a time. And I don't know why people do this, but they actually buy it. I mean, I get 800 to 8,000 a week from putting that kind of stuff up.
That.
Yeah, and it's just, so what I do is I go in and I do my garrison missions, and I do all the resource-only ones, and then, you got your 1,000 resources if you got the upgrade, or you just get the 500 that accumulate, outside. You pick that up, and then you go and you buy those, and it'll be 4,000 or 5,000 garrison resources, but I got them for nothing. And then I take that, when I say 4,000 to 5,000, because I buy them 200 stacks a piece. So then I send that 200 stacks to my Goblin Gold Cast tune, who's at my bank, and I use Loot Master, or no, what's it called?
Trade Skill Master.
Trade Skill Master. I use Trade Skill Master, and I put them up on the auction house, and man alive, they just sell like hotcakes. It's like, I can't believe, and I've heard the Goblin Goldcast talk about this before, how lazy people are, where they could go do this themselves, but they would rather just spend the gold on the auction house and buy it. So,
well, don't forget, those guys are probably using those resources to make something else that they're selling for a profit. So, I mean,
absolutely.
It ends up working out for those guys too, I'm sure. I mean, like me, I'm making most of my gold through the class saw missions. Yeah. I'll pull in. Like the other day, I logged in and I got 9,000 gold just for logging in. I was like,
nice.
Yay.
Yeah. No, see, I have 2 gold tunes. I have one that's doing nothing but pets and transmog items. That's it. She doesn't sell anything else. Nothing else gets sold from her. And I started her off with 1,000 gold pieces, and she has 480,000 gold.
Wow.
Are you selling those pets on this server?
Well,
I can't give my pets away. I'm about ready to go on another server and start selling those things.
Yeah, they're on Fenris, which is
okay.
It's Dragonblight's. It's still Dragonblight's auction house, but yeah, it's the same auction house.
Stafford's gonna get a whisper. You're taking all my pet
Yeah.
profit.
I'll go on another one.
Well, no, I mean, I don't sell a lot of them, but that's all that tune does. And then my other gold tune is strictly sells just anything and everything that comes across my desk that I can't get rid of.
Now, see, I only make a lot of gold with the class haul missions, by the way, because I have 13 level 110 tunes, I think, that all run class haul missions. So, I end up making quite a bit of gold.
Yeah.
That way.
Absolutely. That's what I did with the garrison. I had what at that time you could have 11. I had 11 tunes that each had what could you have, like 10 gold making guys? The 2 missions, or was it 10?
It was
20.
a lot. It was,
yeah.
I think 20. I think it was 20.
And they were all maxed out. They all had the gold making ability on them and the whole bit. I mean, I was making bank. Just
we made so much gold at that point that Blizzard nerfed it.
Yep.
And we were still making decent gold after they nerfed it, but not as much.
Not nearly as much. I mean,
no.
I was logging in twice a day just to do, keep my missions up to date and getting those gold missions going. But that was, in the old days. So, all right, guys, we did fantastic. We hit our time right on the mark. I want to thank our fans for listening. By the way, we went up a couple of ranks in the ranking system that we have for Podomatic.com. We're in the top 10 of the
oh, cool.
gaming.
Wow, guys, thanks.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Thanks,
So, and that's
for
all due
listening,
to our
guys.
listeners. Yep. They're the ones that bring those numbers up for us by listening every week.
Yep, and we love comments, so let us know how we're doing.
Yep.
Yes.
Give us suggestions on things you want to hear about.
And let's thank Charm for all of her beautiful music. And
Thank you,
go
Sharon.
visit her website and her YouTube channel. They're in the description below. The links are BenSound at bensound.com and Vincent Moretto for tavern music. I love that music. Heavy metal tavern music. Who would have thunk it? So, thanks everybody. Thanks all the fans. Thank you guys for coming. We'll see y'all next week.
See you next week.
Thanks, folks.
That's all, folks.
I kissed an orc and I liked it. The taste of his Mongol chapstick. I kissed an orc just to try it. I hope my allied friends don't mind it. It felt so wrong, it felt so right. Don't meet up in love tonight.
This week's Splash into Heels is all about one of our vocabulary words already. Oh my god.